if, let's say, a dog has separation anxiety but doesn't show destructive behavioural patterns, what else could be a sign?
So, I mean, they could just be really unhappy. I mean, and then there aren't any obvious signals, but then normally we wouldn't see them because the owner wouldn't know about it. But pacing, howling, barking, sometimes they wee or poo on the floor, but that's from distress, but it could be because they just need the toilet and they can't get out, you know. They would, yeah, often you would see some form of anxious behaviour, shivering, panting, those kinds of things. And of course, we didn't have the luxury of filming our pets years ago, but now we do. And lots of my clients have set up cameras. You know, you can either buy special ones or you can just use a normal app on a phone or an iPad or a laptop screen or whatever, and leave a camera observing your dog. So that's how I know that's what they do, because I get sent the video of the clients sort of saying, I don't know if this is a sign of stress or not, you know. So we get evidence now of what they're doing. But unfortunately, what tends to happen is the only time people notice is when it becomes extreme. So something has been ripped apart or the neighbours have complained. And by that time, we know the dog is really unhappy. So then we've got to try and bring them back from that brink. And that can sometimes take some time. You know, it's almost never an instant situation with this. Again, because it's built up over a while and it's a natural response to being left on their own.
Yeah, and to that point, more of a selfish question here. Got two dogs. Don't think that they suffer with separation anxiety, certainly not show me any of the signals, the signs that you've just mentioned. But, and I think this might resonate with people, when I go out, we get the big brown eyes at the door, and it's like they're psychic. They know before I know that I'm going out, that I'm about to go, and they'll stand by the door at the exit place that you were talking about, right? And they'll stand there and look at me and look at the doors if so, right, because I do take my dogs to as many places as I can. So they immediately assume that we're going, and when they don't get to come, and then I put on this silly performing voice saying, I'm coming back, and don't worry, and it's ridiculous, but you see yourself falling into that trap and putting on this crazy voice. So, is that should I be worried that there's separation anxiety issues, or is that just something that dogs do? They look at you because they love you and they want to go wherever you are.
I mean, that depends on your dogs. Like you just explained a pattern where they normally come with you and then they don't come with you. So it's quite likely that you're interpreting that correctly, that they're kind of going, well, are we coming? And if they want to come and they can't, for whatever reason, then that's probably like, because they enjoy it and they can't do the thing they enjoy. So I think, you know, that kind of is quite a reasonable assumption. So whether that affects them on the level of severity, we don't know. We would have to probably look at what they're doing after you've gone, for example. But I think there are always levels to these kinds of things where it becomes, they don't like something but they tolerate it. They don't like something, but they can't tolerate it. And it's when they can't tolerate it that we end up with the problem. And that, you know, it isn't nice for them to feel uncomfortable ever. So ideally, what we always go for is not just that they tolerate the fact that they're on their own and whatever, that they actively want you to go out the door because their life either stays just as good or improves somewhat because you're not there. So it might be that you've given them something to do that they only get to enjoy when you're not there. So in which case you've got your dog virtually scooting you out of the door going, can you go now? Because I'd like to have my chewy toy that I'm allowed to have when you're not around. You know, so that's what we aim for when we're trying to help them. We don't just want them to sit there looking a bit sad. And we definitely don't want them to be, you know, panicking or stressed beyond belief and losing control of their bowels. We definitely don't want that. But ideally, we want them to kind of go, oh, it's actually fine when you're not here, you know, no problem.